In today's case study, we are going to cover FanDuel. So, as always, we're going to start off with the Glassdoor reviews. We'll go a little bit more in depth, look at some LinkedIn profiles, and then we're going to go to their company website as well. So, we can see FanDuel here, 177 reviews. Really good number, just a good baseline. So, what do we see? We see 46% negative. Most of my case studies and all of them so far have highlighted companies that have more negative reviews than positive reviews. Hey, this is par for the course. More people who have a negative experience are going to leave that feedback, but still it's something to watch out for. So we go over here, difficulty level 2.9. Almost everything is that 2.8 to 3.0, 3.1 range typically. So getting an interview. 79% applied online, 13% through a recruiter, and 3% through an employee referral. We have a lot of recruiters at FanDuel, so I would expect the recruiting number to be way higher. That should be 20, 25, 30%. And then this employee referral number at 3% just needs to be much higher, again, just based on the number of recruiters they have. So I'm going to go over to a Google Doc to highlight all this feedback. Otherwise, scrolling through is going to take a lot of time. But as you scroll through, I've kind of highlighted some of the high-level things. You can see negative, positive experience, negative experience. What's also showing up is that there's never been a response to any of the positive, neutral, and or negative experience you see here. And that's really important. You always want to respond as an organization to all the feedback. So what is showing up from these reviews? Let's go over to my doc and talk a little bit about it. So from an interview process perspective, a lot of people called out that it was a long process. The project and take-home assignments, there was some lack of clarity, and then some people felt like they were doing work for FanDuel with case studies. Case studies should always be generic, or sometimes potential candidates, potential employees are thinking that they're doing work for you. Overall, bad candidate experience was highlighted multiple times in the interview process. Then there was some question marks around the relevance of the questions, last minute rescheduling, and overall lack of organization. And then there was somebody who mentioned an interviewer no-show. The recruiter process. So I bolded ghosting just because it was such a huge and consistent theme that I really wanted to call it out. Overall poor communication, slow response time. I put ghosting in there twice, it looks like. And then lack of professionalism and role clarity. And then again, at the end, I just highlighted that there were no responses to any of the negative feedback, any feedback at all. So again, what you're going to see when we go through these LinkedIn profiles is that there's quite a few people on the recruiting side. And so some of these items that are coming up as negative feedback for recruiters are just items that the leadership team should be thinking about. So let's go into the profiles. Let's start with Amy. What you will see in almost every single CEO profile that I highlight is they're not branding their organization here. I just think it's a lost opportunity. You're the CEO of the company. You should be one of the biggest brand ambassadors. And so the fact that that's missing there, the rest is pretty straightforward. Not a lot of responsibilities there. This is pretty typical for a CEO. Then Andrew, he's the COO. No branding up here. We don't need to scroll down. Carol, no branding up here. SVP and GM. So from a leadership perspective, you always want to utilize your brand in that LinkedIn background photo. You're a brand ambassador, especially as an executive. So then we come over to Trisha. She's a CPO, so she's definitely in the people space, so she should understand this branding concept, also missing. And then as I scroll down, I see a lot of items highlighted about her, but less of a push to the CPO role. CPO roles vary greatly organization to organization, so I'd really like to understand what she does, because then as we go to these other profiles, then we have Samantha. So Samantha has used some company branding, but it doesn't have the name in there. It doesn't really tell me anything. So I'm looking to be told a story here. Also as a VP of talent acquisition, right in here, she should be pushing people to the careers page, which can be done by turning on creator mode, and highlight her key roles that she's looking to hire. Maybe she's looking to hire some leaders on her team. And then as I just scroll down, I don't really see a lot of additional information there. Then we go to John. John, skyline picture. Again, this is very common. I would expect John to be branding the company. Again, highlighting the careers page. They got a lot of openings on their careers page and then pushing towards some open roles. Then we just scroll down. Again, not a lot of information there. Then Matthew. So we have a second director of talent acquisition. Looks like Matthew is focused in on tech and product, which I like. The I gotcha piece, I don't know. No branding of FanDuel, no push to the website or open roles, but I do know technology and products. So I do have a piece of information there. Then Ashley, you can see the logo is blocked by her picture. That is kind of a sign of lack of organization, a little bit of laziness on this background photo. That should not be happening. This can be updated in Canva. Again, no push to the careers page or to open roles. And I just know that she's a senior manager, but not for what part of the organization. So Rachel, I like this a little bit better. Join the winning team. But again, I don't really know what that means. That's more internal than external. Senior manager, again, no push to the careers page or any of the openings on her team. And then I do see that she's focused in technology. So that's good. Then Rachel, another operations leader, again, America's #1 sports book. So I think FanDuel does sportsbook. We'll get to that in a moment. And then as I scroll down, talent acquisition operations, but there's no context here. So I don't really know what that means. What are we seeing? FanDuel has a lot of people in the leadership or leadership roles at their organization. So let's look at some of these other ones really quickly. Again, there's no branding to the company page, careers page, or open positions. Those are both features that LinkedIn has. And again, the logo is cut off a little bit. I don't know what she's recruiting for. Again, skyline, nothing pushing to the open positions. And I don't know what she coordinates for. Actually, I think I do. I think I went down here. There was some technology, engineering, and product. Yep. So again, another logo. So now the inconsistency in the logos is getting kind of crazy. Like everybody's doing something different. No push to the open positions. And as a talent acquisition specialist, I don't know what that means. Another form of branding. No push to open positions. Senior recruiter, but for what roles? No branding. No push to the careers page. No open positions. Right? And it's a lead recruiter again. And this is just consistent throughout. We're going to see the same thing. No branding, no push to positions. I don't know what they do. Now, this one was interesting. This looks really bad. This is just, again, it's a little bit of a sign of like, I don't care about my LinkedIn profile when there's this kind of blockage in the LinkedIn background photo. Very easy to fix in Canva. And again, no push to the positions. Coordinator. And here's the careers page here. But this isn't a clickable link, which could be put up here. So again, make every moment more. That doesn't mean a lot to me. No push towards the positions. Talent acquisition recruiter. I don't know what roles. You're seeing a lot of themes here. Now, this is a talent acquisition person. Anybody in talent acquisition should know having your face here is really important. Again, the logo is cut off. Again, no push towards the positions. Don't know what they coordinate for. David. Background picture, no push to positions, hasn't posted recently, been there for a year and 4 months, don't know what he does, etc., etc. You can just see consistently America's #1 sportsbook is a little bit better. I don't know what he coordinates for. Julio. Taylor used this background photo. Nobody has utilized this top section to push to the careers page, which is just turning on the creator mode, and then open positions can be dropped right down here. Again, it's another feature. Talent acquisition manager, so no push towards open roles maybe that are on Taylor's team. And then Michael, he's the second person to use this, but we only saw one banner. This banner used twice. Everything else was like all over the place. No push towards open roles. Now I do know technology, so that's good. So that is a lot. But the reason why I always go through this exercise on LinkedIn, it's just a clear indication that this company doesn't know how to use LinkedIn to push prospective candidates to their careers page. So let's go to their careers page because I want to highlight something. And actually, before we do that, let's just go to their general page. So now when we land here, we're trying to get a little bit more of a better idea of what FanDuel does and how they can highlight that better in their LinkedIn profile. So it's fantasy sports, sports betting, and face-off. So if I scroll down a little bit, it's like, okay, sports betting, that's clear. Fantasy, that's clear. And then when it comes to face-off, horse racing, casino, this is more gaming. So they could just be saying, hey, sports betting, fantasy, and gaming. Those could be the 3 keywords that they use to sell on LinkedIn, because now I know exactly what they do as an organization. So I think most people know that in New York and California, it's very well known that you need to post the salary range for any open position. So they've done that here, and I've highlighted it. Now let's go over here. This role is in Atlanta. There is no salary posted here, but the law in Atlanta is the same. Not throughout Georgia, but the law in Atlanta is that you have to post the salary range. And so why is that such a glaring miss? Well, let's go back here for a second. CPO, VP of Talent, Director of Talent, Director of Talent. And none of them has caught that miss. That means that leadership isn't paying enough attention to online branding for their organization. I hope this case study of FanDuel was interesting.